Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Bridget. How you guys doing? I hope you're doing fine. I am fabulous. I am feeling on top of the world. And this is just me. So I've got a couple of emails I've received. If you send me an email and I haven't responded or haven't done your video, please bear with me. I've just been really busy, and I will get to it. I just want to acknowledge that I've seen it. Even if I haven't done the video, I shall get to it. So please be patient with me. Yeah. So this email was sent to me sometime in December by a young lady. She lives in Canada. So I'm just going to explain. I'm not going to read it. I will explain it because I think it makes more sense just explaining the key points of what her issue is. And as usual, it's about relationship, it's about marriage. So what happened? She said that she married her husband as a virgin from Nigeria. He came from the Canada to come and marry her, and she was a virgin. But yet the marriage did not last. So it's a case of marrying somebody that you hardly know, was arranged. That's the way I put it, because they didn't spend any time together at all. The guy was in Canada. He's been married before. They were introduced and they met each other, and like literally the second time they saw each other was when they were getting married. So they never really spent time together. They don't know each other. They were only talking on the phone and chatting. So she basically, this is what I said to her. I said, you married a stranger, because there's no way you know this man, and he's an older man again. You see, from time to time, we find that I'm beginning to discover now on this channel that a lot of older men, African men who are older, for one reason or the other, when their marriages don't work out, they go to Nigeria to go and look for younger women to marry. And we all know how these things always end. Unfortunately, most of those stories don't always turn out to be success stories, because you're marrying somebody that you don't know. Basically, you don't know your compatibility, whether you even like each other, because you've not been together long enough to make that decision or make that determination. And at the end of the day, water go come past Gary sooner than we know it. And this is exactly what happened in this young woman's case. So these are some of the issues that happened. So she was in Nigeria, and she got introduced to this man who was 15 years older than her. He came to Nigeria, they got talking, they got introduced to families, and he was interested in marrying her. And by the time he came back, they were married. And he started working on her papers to come to Canada. And by 2012, they got married, and 2013, she arrived in Toronto, Canada, a year after. And the man has a child from his previous relationship who was living with them. I think she said the previous wife passed away. It was not a case of his marriage ending by divorce. It was because he's a widower. The wife died. So the son from that marriage was living with them, and then they started having issues with raising the son, how to raise the son, or how to raise the son. And she had her own child. She had one child. And one of the issues she said they had was the fact that there was a third person who was in the marriage, who was like, would I say a neighbor? Yeah, someone who lives local to them and knows this man very well. I don't know, because I kept asking her, are you sure this woman was not interested in this man? Because from everything she told me, it seems like that neighbor was very interested in the man. Maybe he was expecting the man to marry her after his wife died, and he didn't look at her side and decided to go and marry a younger girl from Nigeria. I don't know. But the way the woman was obviously very involved in their marriage, you can tell that there is more to this than meet the eye. For instance, the man, she said, does not confide in her or tell her he's doing very well financially, but everything he does, with his business is known to this woman, not her. She doesn't know much about him. And, when it comes to bringing money, even for food, is a struggle at home. When she has issues with his stepson, for instance, when she said she disciplined the stepson because he was misbehaving and everything, and that became a very big deal. Social services were involved in the matter, and she said she smacked him. And I said, well, you shouldn't have done that. You should not have done that, because I don't think that kind of behavior is allowed in Canada. And she doesn't know the arrangement they have, so she feels like she's sidelined in the marriage. because it feels like the husband had more, he had a friendship with this other woman than herself, right? So the matter between them got very, very complicated, you know, and they had to go to court. And she said that the case was dismissed against her. Initially, social services got involved. She was told to leave the house because of the stepson, and the matter was taken to court, but they worked with her, and eventually everything got sorted. And she said that he keeps traveling to Nigeria. Every time he travels to Nigeria, and he will stay away for months and leave her there with little or no money, and they would don't communicate. Things were not good between them. Yeah. She said at one time this man went to Nigeria, and the niece came to the house and started picking issues with her because I don't know, they had a disagreement and they got into an altercation and they were fighting. And this same neighbor that I'm talking about, that says the third wheel in the marriage, came and joined them, and they all gathered together. Both of them gathered together and beat her. The story is very, very long. Like I said, I'm trying to paraphrase it. I don't know. I'm trying to see if it can make sense to you. But because she already had an issue with social services with the stepson, they called the police on her and reported her and accused her of assaulting them. And she's saying how that she's only a very tiny, tiny girl. How can she assault? How does she have the strength to fight two grown women? Anyway, the police came and they removed her, and they moved her to another city. And she was saying that the case was taken to court, but when the husband came back from Nigeria, when all this happened in his absence, when she had a quarrel with the niece, the husband's niece, and this neighbor, he took the side of his niece. He didn't take his wife's side. He didn't try to see if he can resolve issues amicably, saying that it's a family matter, how they can squash it. The matter went to court eventually, but it got dismissed. She said that the issues at that point, that it was too much. It was just too much, that she started finding out so many things about the man that she didn't know. For instance, she didn't understand the circumstances of what led to the first wife death. And according to her, the woman died in the house, right in that house where they were living. Gong, gong, gong. She died in the house before she was removed. So she said sometimes she'll be having nightmares. She'll be seeing the woman like a ghost and things like that. That she was scared. That she started hearing funny, funny stories, and she's not sure, and he never told her anything about, the true picture of what actually happened to the wife. Because if you want to marry a widower, at least know what happened to your predecessor now. Let's know what happened to the first wife before you, wife number 2, will step into the equation. But it didn't seem like that was happening in this situation. The communication, she said, was zero. They only communicated via email and text messages, and things were really bad. Ended dragging each other in family court, and eventually separating, and now divorced. And it's like, what she's trying to say is that because she considered herself a good girl, a church girl, she married as a virgin and was going into the marriage with an open heart. Unfortunately, her marriage did not work. So there's no guarantee that because you are a good girl, or you are a virgin, or you are marrying as a novice, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a successful marriage. And she's saying that, now she's having, after 2 kids, no, they ended up having 2 kids according to her, and she's starting to pick up the pieces of her life now and start it on all over again, going to work. And it's like from they got married in 2012, and she came to Canada in 2013. She's only just getting her life together in 2019. See what people go through. This is it. This is life. This is marriage. This is going to Africa to marry somebody that you don't know. I am a very, very strong advocate against going to marry, going to Africa to marry. And there are reasons why. I'm not saying that all marriages that people go to marry in Africa does not work. Obviously, some do, but most of them end up hitting the rocks, or the couples just end up being very unhappy and staying for other reasons. in the relationship. This is the way I see it. When you go to marry somebody, you are an elderly person. Let's say you are in your late 50s, and you go to Nigeria or any African country to go and take a wife. When we visit Africa, we stay a week, 2 weeks, and you are back. My my point is that it doesn't give you enough time to date or court that person. 2 weeks does not give the woman enough time to get to know the kind of person that you are. They think they know you. They fantasize about going abroad to start this life because most girls in Nigeria, when they see that somebody comes from the diaspora to marry them, they are so excited. They think, oh, God has delivered their family from poverty. They are going to have a good life. But we all know that it doesn't work that way. From what she's saying, the guy is successful, but she that married him never benefited financially from his so-called success. So these are some of the issues why I tend to discourage people from it, because I say, you don't know each other, except you tell me that you stay in Nigeria for maybe 6 months to a year to sit with that girl so that you guys will be seeing each other and you properly date. So you know each other, because the purpose of dating is to know whether you are compatible or not. To know whether you can live with that person. Do they have the same values like you? What are their weak points? What are the things that you don't like about them? What are the things that you love about them? So you can now have, that power to be able to make an informed decision about this human being that you tend to spend the rest of your life with. The negatives and the positive, which one outweighs the other? But in situations like this, you barely even know the person. Whether you are virgin or no virgin, that one don't mean nothing. Life doesn't work that way, sadly. You're a good girl does not mean that you have a good marriage. I said it before that most good girls have gone. Sometimes they end up marrying the most whacked job people in this world. So we have to prayerfully and open our eyes, koro, because love is no longer blind. Love sees very clearly, and be very, very proactive as ladies. The kind of men that we want to marry, the kind of men, because sometimes when you just marry, it seems like we prepare for marriage, the ceremony as a wedding, we prepare for wedding, but we don't really prepare for the marriage after. After all the guests have gone, is you and your husband now, okay? Especially in this kind of situation whereby, there are other people involved. There's a child from a previous marriage, and there are other interests like the neighbor who keeps sticking her nose in your marriage, who your husband may or may not have something to do with. So these are all issues that, I'm not saying anybody is perfect. I'm not saying that the young lady was a good girl or that she didn't have her faults. I told her, one-to-one, that what you did, for them to take you to court, because I am a social worker, I know that there needs to be evidence for, social services to take a matter up, to go to court and, get you removed. What you did would have been considered as significant, harm to the child. What you did to that child, there's no way you're going to sugarcoat it for me. I know what you did is not just smacking. You did much more than that. And that's why the matter ended up in court. So thank God you were exonerated. Now you know better. You got 2 children now. All those kind of wicked training of children, backward training of children that you were probably raised like that, it doesn't work in this part of the world. Don't do it. If you do it, they will take your children away. I don't pray that it happens to you, but be very, very careful. I already talked to you. We spoke one-on-one, and I warned you. Don't bring up all those African way of raising a child that you have to be squeezing the child and punishing them in ways that are just inhumane. Don't do that. It's not nice. It causes damage to the child's life. When they grow up, they're going to be suffering from so many things from their childhood. Don't do it. So that's the bottom line. The marriage has ended. Obviously, she needs to heal. He needs to. They both need to move on at some point. They've already divorced. But it's a learning curve for everyone. Shine your eye. Shine your eye. You cannot, it's not something that you can even overemphasize. The need for people to take their time. Don't jump into marriage that you don't know each other as strangers. You end up being married to a stranger and you think it's going to work. Or marrying somebody in the diaspora, you think it's going to work just because he lives in the diaspora. Or he too thinking that he's going to Africa to go and marry a small girl. African men like small girl. If she's a virgin, she's small, she's fresh, so that your friends will envy you that you marry a small girl. You might end up just marrying somebody that, is not what you bargained for. So let us be very, very careful when it comes to lifelong decisions like this. Somebody said that one of the biggest decision you will ever make in your life is the choice of who you want to marry. So don't take it lightly. Don't take it lightly. I find that over and over again, because of so many reasons, a lot of Nigerians marry for the wrong reasons. We marry because there's pressure. Age is no longer on my side. I want to have children. Oh, he lives abroad. He's going to take care of me. He's an older man. He's going to give my family a better life. These are all reasons that not marry somebody that you cannot live without. Until you see that man as somebody that you cannot live without, that's how much you feel about them. That's how much they make you feel. And then prayerfully seek God's face about it. Because I feel like when we are desperate like that and we want to get married, we leave God on the side and say, okay. But when things start to fall apart, we start to call on God. And then God will be asking us, did you not see me here? Did you ask me before you went ahead into this marriage? So it is well. Let us do better. Yeah. Just gonna leave it here today. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and I shall speak to you in my next video. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section. Au revoir. Bye bye.